Hello everyone, in this video I will guide you how to create an API endpoint, adding pre-middleware or post-middleware, and returning a different response type based on your application requirement. For example, if you go into API section and go into the default group, let's create a new endpoint like hello, and the type will be get. We will add middleware later. So the endpoint is created. Let's add one input field like a text. We get a name from the query parameter from the user request. For example, we set the query and the name will be name. This name that can be used inside your function stack. For example, we could use name input, and the name of the query parameter is a name, and the type we use string, and if we don't provide the name, we can provide a default value, for example no name, and save. Inside the function stack we add a new function to return the input field. So create, and the response type is a JSON row. JSON row, we can add multiple fields to the response. For example, add a new field, and for example the name of the field will be name, and the value will be the name input, and save. Now if you run the API, because we don't provide the name query parameter, we get a default one which is no name. So let's add name and advance and run. We get a value repass. If we check this inside the browser, we can copy the link in here and add in. We can see it's return jack, because we inside the query parameter we provided this value and we provide as a name. For example, we could change to result and save. One thing important you should to know, for example, if you refresh, it's still name, because in the builder it does not trigger rebuild until you run inside this builder. If you run this, it will change to result, and if we refresh we can see it changed. So anytime when you change something inside the builder, run inside the builder first, and you can run outside the builder, so it will load the latest data. And let's add a new field to the input field. This field, for example, we use integer, and let's add a pass parameter for the endpoint. For example, we can use hello, and after that we use user ID, and save. And if you go into the input field here, select the pass field. That's a pass from the this pass, and the name will be user ID input, and the tag, because we define as a user ID, we use the same, and the value type will be int, and save. Okay, now if we going to see in the pass we have a user ID, we could provide, for example, 1, and let's add to the response first before running in. Okay, so user ID will be user ID input, and save. Let's go into here and run. Now we can see it return results as a name value, and user ID is a 1. Now let's add a simple function to just make the name uppercase. For example, we can add new function like that, or this it will add to the int, for example appear to uppercase, and if we can drag this function to the end, because when this return response call it will go out of the scope of the function step by returning the value to the user. So going to here, and the result, we pass the result to the same name input, so that will be name input, and the value will be name input. So it will make the uppercase for this name and assign to itself. Now if we run again, we can see the name it become an uppercase. Okay, so let's test this. So copy and paste in here. We can see because we don't provide as a right value, and user ID is an integer, but we don't provide any value, for example 1 and Jack, and we can see the value is result Jack and user ID 1. And inside the builder you can also check the other value. For example, user ID is an integer, name input is a string. Okay, so let's create a pre-middleware to run before this function stack is called. So by doing that, we need to create a function first. So going to the function tab, and it show the group, for example default group, create new function like log request, and we need to check this as a middleware. Great. And if we go into here, we just print some value to the log, and we say new request, receive it and save. Okay, let's go back to the API, and inside the API we can see pre-middleware and post-middleware, and in the pre-middleware we select the log request. This will be added, we can delete. Okay, then update. Okay, so if we run for example if we one and the name, yes. Okay, if we check inside the log, we can see the pre-middleware is called before the function stack. In the same way, we can add post-middleware. The post-middleware will be called after the function stack is called. For example, we can add the same function as a post-middleware and update, run. We can see inside the log 2 times this message is printed, because we use the same function. It will print twice. Let's change the let's create a new function for the post middleware that's different from this. For example, post middleware function, and create, and now inside this function we access a variable that already created inside the function stack. For example, we add this post middleware to a specific endpoint that doing some action after the function stack is completed. For example, we use get variable. Get variable is used to get a variable that is defined outside of this function stack. For example, name, and we use name input, and the value type of the name input is string, so it's good. And let's say print, we say the name is, and provide the name value, save. Okay, so let's go to the API and we can update the post-middleware. So post-middleware function update, and let's provide some value like 1, repass, and run. So it worked. So let's check. We can see the phase 1 is a new request received, and the second log message is the name is repass. That is the second middleware. In the next video, I will dive into deeper on how can you use custom struct to hold multiple query or multiple body field, so you can easily access it inside your functions tab, and how you can access the nested struct and this kind of stuff. So I see you in the next video. Thank you.